Well, as a matter of fact, I think something good is about happening to the farmers. If everything is to go the way we've heard it, the federal government and state government about to give free fertilizer to farmers. That's the good news. But then, let's see if that's actually going to be actualized. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, this is The Review. And joining me on the conversation today is Michael Ekenedili-Chukwu. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, all right. Let's talk about this. The federal government and state have promised to give fertilizer to farmers. And the president today in one of the papers, in most of the papers, have said it is good for governors to revert back to the farm because of the food shortage that we have in the country right now. What do you think about this? Is it a welcome development?
It is. It is coming from the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Oweleketv. It is commendable if fertilizers will be distributed to every farmer, every farming community, precisely free of charge, to enable boosting the economy, because food production is one pivotal, aspect or factor that aids the betterment of an economy. A healthy economy is a wealthy economy.
That's it.
So if you don't eat, you're not wealthy. And a hungry man is an angry man. So if Nigerians can eat very well, have food security, have fertilizers, pesticides and herbicides to aid farming in various communities and localities, it is a fantastic and a splendid idea from the federal government.
All right, let's look at the implementation. Well, this is something that has been said, but the implementation, we've had situations in the past where people into whom this fertilizer is being committed to do the sharing, hoard it, and sell later. And farmers, sometimes they will be pressed, and because they need it, they will go buy it. What do you think can be done so that things like that doesn't happen?
I believe they should set up a committee, or a caretaker committee, or disbursement committee, or whatever it is called, people that will see to accountability, and that it gets dispensed to the appropriate farmers personally, like it gets to them. Don't give out a contract to people you don't know. They don't have integrity, because over the years we see how the price of fertilizers have been on the high side. I mean, farmers mostly make use of local manure. And then you find out that the areas that do not have loamy soil, or soils that are rich and in distant, like in bush plants, averagely have poor harvests. So I believe federal government have ways for this to be disbursed, and it gets to the appropriate farmers, particularly farming communities, because that should be the states that are not necessarily farming should not get fertilizers. If 1.5 million trailers of fertilizer is about to be disbursed to every 36 state, so welcome development and make it free. And please, it shouldn't be to those who are kept in charge to start selling it, because we'll see some policies that have been made over the years, and there's no security, no accountability, and no effectiveness. They just disburse these fertilizers, and these people go to look at it and start selling it. There's nobody to watch. There's nobody to report. So they should make sure there's adequate reportage and scrutiny and assessment. Make sure it gets to the farmers that needs it, because food production, like I said before, is a major aspect of boosting our economy. When we have excess food, in the markets, those prices of goods and commodities in the market will drastically reduce. When we have people engaging in agricultural practice, most of the things that have not really motivated people to go into agriculture is lack of fertilizers, because not every state have, like I said before, viable and
good farming land.
Yeah, good farming land that produces
the farmland needs to be good first of all. All right. While you were talking, you made mention of security. Let's talk about that a little bit. One of the things that have stopped farmers from going to their farm is the security situation. Apart from giving fertilizer, you can give someone fertilizer and they leave it at home. They can't go to farm. Do you think what do you think the federal government can do, all right, to make sure this fertilizer, because some persons, you even give them fertilizer, they will claim to be farmers. They will collect this fertilizer and they sell it.
Yeah.
Some persons will come with excuses that, well, the security situation, they can't go to farm, all of that, just because they want to sell this fertilizer and make money. Because I could remember when we're giving out mosquito nets, okay, the treated mosquito net for malaria. Some persons collected it and they sold it.
Absolutely.
You understand? Some persons collected it and they go and use it in their farm. Some persons collected this net and you know what they did with it? They went to the river to use it in catching fish. This thing, after giving out, the NGO gave out this net and we had a follow-up how this net was being used, because we actually taught them how to use this net. Don't you think this fertilizer can actually be misused by some persons who will claim to be farmers? Then at the end of the day, the fertilizer doesn't even get to the farmers.
I think
the real farmers.
Yeah, I think the criterion for eligibility for obtainment of this fertilizer should be from local communities, because these local leaders have a way of assessing people that really needs it. Like, you go to these farmers, or most farmers even have a union. Organized farmers have a union. You go to these localities, send scouts. They should not even come and say, we're trying to give you fertilizer. Send scouts to actually get to, let's say just the same way census is conducted from one household to the other. Do this meticulously and proactively. Ask questions. Who are the real farmers? Get their names, get details, do feasibility study. That's what it is. Get the real farmers, get names, so you don't distribute these fertilizers to people who are acclaimed farmers and they are not farmers. Most people can actually act, we're farmers. You can just go and buy a hoe and machete and come and tell you they're farmers. Meanwhile, they're not the real farmers. So feasibility study should be done to ascertain the real farmers that need these fertilizers. When that is done, federal government should set up alongside with the vigilante and security local network. They should partner. The police, the army, the navy, all hands must be on deck in ensuring security of lives and properties. In a state where there's no security, I can get the fertilizer and keep it in my house and decide to sell it. Because how do I go to the farm? Meanwhile, there are unknown government or bandits waiting for me. I've said this. I've said this severally. Several eastern states right now. We all know that when you travel from the city and you go into sometimes they send you gari or fufu or things like that, foodstuffs from villages. But right now, it doesn't happen. Because
rather you send from the city to the village. To them.
They don't go to farm anymore. They will tell you, hey, last time we were here, people were just trying to create grasses and headers, cattle rearers came and we didn't know they had machetes, weaponries, guns, and they started shooting sporadically. Why is this happening in localities? Why we a security system be so vulnerable and inactive and passive that these guys that are rearing cattle or cows, whatever they're called, will be with weapons and they will allow them to be roaming about?
That someone said it sometime that if an ordinary man carry a machete walking on the street, someone may want to ask what's happening.
You've been arrested. What are you doing with it?
Sometimes you even see them with den guns.
But these guys do that with impunity.
I don't know why they have
even
to be
in the
allowed
FCT,
to
they
do
have
that.
long, sharp machete, and sometimes they commit crime with it at night when probably they're doing the job and they didn't see food and they see you're passing along. A girl is passing along. They can threaten you, collect your phone to sell it. Things are happening, especially the local communities that have farming populace. Talk about places like Benue, Enugu, Anambra. Anambra goes to farm, but Enugu and Benue, they've stopped farming. Unlike before that, we have more farmers. Right now, people are retracting the steps from going to the farm because of insecurity. You go to the farm to get food. Take off your head.
Well, this is a pathetic situation. I think it's a good move. What the federal government is about doing, giving out fertilizer, is a good move. But then there are things we feel should be put in place to supervise the distribution of this fertilizer and to also know who really needs it. And of course, if the people can actually go to the farm. Then we also talk about the fact that the security operatives should be up and doing. Vigilantes and every other person who is in charge of security should be up with their game. Well, thank you very much, Michael, for joining me on the review for this morning.
You're welcome.
This is going to be the size of the review for today. We will come on your way again, and that's going to be on Monday. We are so glad that you are right there. Have a wonderful weekend. Celebrate the weekend peacefully, all right? And don't take laws into your hands. Bye-bye for now.